Welcome back. Today we're diving into an explainer that is literally going to flip the script on how you think about aging, energy, and, well, one very specific supplement. If you hear the word creatine and instantly picture giant tubs of neon powder and 20-something gym bros snapping selfies, do me a favor and just erase that image completely. We're looking at cutting-edge science that totally reframes creatine today. It's not a muscle powder for getting huge, it's an actual biological battery for aging bodies. We're going straight to the source material to uncover how this acts as an ultimate vitality guide for anyone over 50. Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to breeze through 1. Myth versus reality. 2. The cellular battery. 3. Surprising health benefits. 4. Who benefits most. 5. Safe usage guidelines. And finally, 6. Crucial medical warnings. All right, Section 1, Myth versus Reality, Reframing Creatine. Let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat about who this stuff is actually built for. So there is a huge disconnect between the traditional view and scientific reality. We used to think this was exclusively for young guys trying to pack on muscle. But the actual data, it tells a completely different story. The scientific reality is that creatine is a remarkably powerful anti-aging tool specifically for those over 50. We're talking about maintaining muscle mass, preserving cognitive memory, and actually protecting bone mineral density. It is an essential tool for longevity, not just for lifting heavy weights. Moving right along to Section 2, the cellular battery, and how energy actually works. To really get why this works, we gotta geek out on biology for just a second. Down at a cellular level, your muscles, your brain, your heart, they all run on an energy currency called ATP. That's adenosine triphosphate. Think of ATP as the fuel keeping every major system in your body humming. But here is the catch. As we age, our cells just naturally begin to struggle to produce this ATP. And that drop in our energy currency, that's exactly what causes that chronic everyday sense of fatigue so many of us feel as we get older. Now, what's truly mind-blowing is how creatine steps in to solve this problem. It literally acts as a rapid backup charger for your depleted ATP. When you take creatine, your body stores it as something called phosphocreatine. So the moment your cells start running low on ATP, that stored phosphocreatine jumps into action and rapidly recharges your cellular batteries. It replenishes the ATP, restores your cellular energy, and brings back your physical vitality. It is literally like plugging your cells into a backup power bank. Which brings us to Section 3. Surprising health benefits and the whole body impact. The whole body impact here is just phenomenal. Take your vascular system, for example. A brand new 2025 study out of Florida State University by Dr. Holly Clark, published in the journal Nutrients, showed that creatine actually improves your muscle reoxygenation rate. That's how fast oxygen gets back into your muscles after you exert yourself. Meaning, if you get winded climbing the stairs, this helps your body recover faster and keeps those blood vessels flexible. And metabolically, it's a real game changer. Creatine activates a glucose transporter protein in your muscles called GLUT4. This lets your muscles pull sugar straight out of your blood without relying so heavily on insulin, which smooths out those sharp blood sugar spikes after meals. Research even suggests it helps limit triglyceride buildup. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Let's look at the brain, which, by the way, is a massively energy-hungry organ. A 2025 review from Western Ontario University by Samantha Marshall found that creatine supplementation in older adults helps prevent cognitive and memory decline. It literally fuels your brain to fight off that frustrating everyday forgetfulness. And then there's bone density. A fascinating 2015 study tracked 47 postmenopausal women taking creatine while doing resistance training for a year. The result? It significantly suppressed the decline of bone mineral density at the femoral neck, which is your hip joint. And preserving your hip joint is absolutely paramount as you age. All right, on to Section 4, Who benefits most? The non-responder reality. Now, before you run out and buy some, you should know that biology is super nuanced. We have this thing scientists call the non-responder reality. Basically, some folks will feel almost no effects from taking creatine. Why? Usually because they eat a really high meat diet. Meat naturally contains creatine, so their body's natural stores are already completely topped off. But the high responders? Those are vegetarians, plant-based eaters, or, and this is key, older adults who just don't have the appetite they used to. Because their dietary intake of meat and fish has dropped, their natural creatine tanks are running on empty. If you fall into that high responder group, this quote perfectly nails what happens in your body. Because your muscles are depleted from eating less meat, they're going to absorb this supplement like a dry sponge absorbing water. The effect is fast, and the boost in your daily vitality is going to be massive compared to someone whose sponge is already completely soaked. Let's move into Section 5, Safe Usage Guidelines, the Over-50 Playbook. Okay, if you go poking around online, you're going to see a ton of advice aimed squarely at 20-year-old bodybuilders. They will tell you to do this crazy loading phase, taking 20 grams a day for the first week. Do not do that. For an older adult, that much creatine all at once is just going to cause major gastrointestinal distress. The over-50 rule is to skip the loading phase entirely. You only need a simple, consistent daily dose of 3 to 5 grams. That is literally just about 1 teaspoon a day. And when you're shopping, keep it simple. Just look for standard creatine monohydrate. It is the most researched, trusted form out there, so you really do not need any of those pricey, complicated variations. Now, I need you to remember this number, 500. That stands for 500 extra milliliters of water, which is about 2 extra cups, that you absolutely must drink every single day when taking creatine. Remember how we said creatine works by pulling water directly into your muscle cells? Well, that can pull water out of your blood vessels. And since the over-50 generation is already way more prone to dehydration, you've got to compensate for that cellular shift by stepping up your water intake. Finally, Section 6, Crucial Medical Warnings and Dangerous Interactions. We need to take a serious turn here. While the benefits we've talked about are amazing, if you're managing existing health conditions, there are some vital medical interactions you simply cannot ignore. Do not start taking this without talking to your physician first, especially if you're on any of the 3 types of drugs listed here. First, NSAID painkillers like Loxonin or ibuprofen. Second, diuretics, which folks often take to manage high blood pressure. And third, diabetes medications, particularly metformin. All of these medications are heavily processed by your kidneys. Throwing creatine into the mix alters the strain on your renal system, so it is absolutely critical that you get your physician's green light to make sure your kidneys can safely handle the combination. You also need to be highly aware of what we call the blood test trap. When you supplement with creatine, it naturally raises something called creatine levels in your blood. Now, this is a totally harmless side effect of the supplement. It does not mean your kidneys are damaged. But here is the catch. High creatinine is also a primary medical marker used to diagnose kidney failure. Because of that overlapping marker, a doctor who has no idea you're taking the supplement might look at your blood test, misinterpret that elevated creatinine as kidney failure, and mistakenly order you to stop taking your life-saving medications. We definitely don't want that. You must be transparent. Always tell your doctor that you're taking a creatine supplement before you undergo any blood work or kidney function tests. So there you have it. We've unpacked the incredible anti-aging vitality potential, from catching your breath easier on the stairs to a sharper memory to stronger hips. But we've also laid out the critical need for smart, medically supervised usage. The science is crystal clear. Creatine is no longer just for the gym bros. It is a profound tool for healthy aging. But it all comes down to this. Are you ready to recharge your cellular battery with that simple daily teaspoon? Or do you need to take this info and have a chat with your doctor first? Either way, you now have the science on your side. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and keep learning.